Hello, and welcome to the overview video for the new cloud-enabled version of MeetingResult for Business. We're excited about this new version, and we're excited to have you as beta testers. In this video, we want to give an overview of the changes that we've made in the user interface so that you can find your way around the application and find all of the things that you are used to using in the previous version of MeetingResult. When you first open the application, you'll notice that the user interface has changed substantially. No longer do we have the menus in the upper left-hand corner that you used to use in order to access the various parts of the application. We've moved that functionality to various sections of the main screen that you see in front of you. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll notice that there's two buttons, Projects and Stakeholders. When you choose the Project button, you'll see a list of projects on the left-hand side. You can scroll down to choose which project you want to work with. If you want to add a new project, you click on the plus button, and you'll add a new project. Or if you're in the stakeholder view, you can scroll down and see all the stakeholders that you've configured in the system, or you can add a new stakeholder by clicking the plus button. You still have access to your iPad address book to pull contacts directly from there, or you can create stakeholders manually. Next, the configuration options are now accessible through the gear icon in the upper right-hand corner. By clicking on this, you'll see that there's a menu of options for configuration. The first is a manual synchronize button. Clicking this will sync the data from your iPad up to our cloud service. We also synchronize the data automatically on a scheduled interval. Next is your cloud account, and you'll see information about your cloud account and also an option to restore the data if you needed to restore your data from the cloud service down to the iPad. Next are the configuration options that include the integration services such as Dropbox, Google Docs, and Evernote, and also the ability to add or change the custom logo that you use for branding your agenda and meeting summary reports. Next, let's look at the projects and the meetings and assets. When I have all projects chosen, I see all meetings and all assets showing up in the view. If I choose a specific project, then you'll see that I only see the meetings and assets for that project. On the asset view, I can toggle between outstanding assets, which are action items, issues, and risks that have an open status, or if I choose all, I'll see all of my assets, including my notes and decisions. On the meeting side, I can either look at my planned meetings or my completed meetings by simply clicking on them, and it will bring up the view of that meeting. Or if I want to add a new meeting, I can click on the plus button and I'll be presented with a screen to add a new meeting. Now we've added a new feature for adding meetings based on user feedback. And that feature is you can simply give the meeting a name and choose to meet now without fully planning that meeting. Or you could plan out the meeting and then it would show up in your plan view and you could execute that meeting by clicking on the play button to the right. This brings you to the meeting execution view where you can record attendance, you can review your objectives and agenda items, you can edit them and add new ones, and also you can take down your meeting assets. You still have your timer at the top. Alright, next let's look at the asset view. Let's go to outstanding. Let's look at some action items. One of the new features is the ability to update the status of an action item. By clicking on the target button to the right-hand side of that action item, it will bring up a window where I can change the status of that particular action item. In the All view, I can review notes, I can review decisions, action items, and one of the new features is if I wanted to tag somebody on an action item, you can see that there's a tag here. This one doesn't have any tags currently, but if during the actual meeting I wanted to tag somebody, they would show up as being tagged on this meeting asset. Next, let's look at some project level reporting for meeting performance. By clicking on the stats button in the upper right hand corner, it pulls up a project statistics report that basically gives you an overview of how are your meetings performing for this particular project. In another video, we'll go into this report into more depth. You can also edit a project by clicking on the pencil icon and that'll bring up the Edit Project screen. Next, let's look at the search capabilities that are available in this new version. In the upper right-hand corner, you can type in keyword searches that will bring back all meetings, notes, decisions, action items, risks, issues, or decisions that have that keyword that you typed in them, and you can jump to them quickly by choosing them from the search result list. Well, that concludes the overview video. Please stay tuned for additional videos that will dive into each of the features in more depth.